Okay, we will try to continue with chapter 5 on opportunity, but we have to go back to this Constitution because this is the one that will be difficult for you. I mentioned last time the 12th Amendment. You need to just mention this a little. In the very beginning, in American history, the president is not voted directly by people. Even today, okay, the United States president is not really voted directly by people. You have what we call the popular vote, right? Popular vote, and then we have the electoral vote, electoral college vote. Popular votes means everyone, every voters who are eligible to vote today, including women, including college student, right? Age 18, right? Remember that 26th Amendment that changed the voting age from 20 to 18. So young people can vote, women can vote, but in the very beginning, you only have some people who are voting, but they are not voting directly for president, they're voting for electors. That's what we call them, the electors. Okay, electoral. It's a little bit like in traditional Taiwan's presidential election. How did we vote for our presidential election this year before 1996? Li Denghui was first elected in 1996, directly voted by people. But before that, who voted for President Li? No. Oh, the astronauts, right? Remember those astronauts? Do you know the astronauts of the National Assembly, 国民大会? The National Assembly, all those people who were elected way back in China in 1948. They continued to serve until the early 1990. So in 1990 election, hey, think of this. So you're young elite, right? You elected as National Assembly member in China in 1948 at the age of 35. Okay, 42 years later, you're 77. But what happened to those who were elected at the age of 45 or 50? They were 90. So they are moving like astronauts. When they go to vote, sometimes you have people wheeling the wheelchair, and then the nurse, very nervous, carry all the IVs, and then their hands might be shaking and dropping their ballot. That's why we call astronaut. But those are the same electors, just like the Americans. First, you have indirect election. You have the electoral. So electors, they will vote, okay. Before this, according to the Constitution, they will vote for president and vice president separately. So the highest vote getter will become president. The second highest will be the vice president. So what happened? First of all, Jefferson and Adams. Okay. Do you still remember Federalist and what's the other side? Federalist versus people who do not like Federalist. What do we call them? Anti-Federalist, right? And at this time, John Adams was considered this. And Thomas Jefferson is an anti-Federalist. In the 1896 election, Jefferson, as an anti-Federalist, ran against the vice president at the time, John Adams, and lost. But he came in second. So he was the vice president of his rival. Okay, so that is one big problem there. Okay, the second problem they have is when you vote, you say, well, you vote for me as president, you vote for Ms. Xi as vice president, but they made a mistake of every elector who support the anti-federalists in 1804. When 1800, when Jefferson was running, they vote for the same votes. Like you can vote for one for president, one for vice president, and somehow they got the same votes. So it has become like president and vice president the same vote. So that's the reason you need to change the law. Okay, so finally in 1804, after those two incidents, they decided that first of all, the ballot, the person vote for as president and also vote for vice president, you have two different lists. Okay, so the president can choose his own, we call it running mate. That's one. The second one, very important one, is about what happens if they don't get the majority of the electoral college vote. Okay, what will happen? Okay, the president will go to the House of Representatives to be decided, and then the vice president will go to the Senate to be decided. Okay. Again, one interesting thing. In American history, every time, even though we will have people who never got majority of the popular vote, but most of the president got majority of the electoral college vote. Because at the end, American is what? Two-party system. So only two people are fighting, all this least known candidates, independents. They might be winning some popular votes, but they cannot win any electoral college vote. Remember, electoral college vote in one state, for example, right? Like California, 55 here. So if you have 55 votes here, any candidate who won the majority, or not majority, plurality, you have more votes than the other candidates, you win all 55 electoral college vote. So small candidate might be winning 10% of the vote at most, but they get nothing to show for in electoral college vote. So that's the reason most of the time you will have majority electoral college vote. And sometimes it will be even disproportionately big, like Obama versus McCain, 365 to 173. So that kind of discrepancy. But one time in American history, in 1824, John Adams' son, John Quincy Adams, ran against Andrew Jackson. And Andrew Jackson got more electoral college vote the first time, but didn't have the majority. So go to the House of Representatives to decide. And then the other candidate who got some votes saying if you name me as the Secretary of State, then my votes, those states who vote for me, I will shift them to you. So John Adams won the 1824 election with less popular votes, less electoral college vote, because it was decided according to the 1804, decided by the House of Representatives. Okay, House of Representatives, look at here, saying, choose, right, the president, only the top 3 candidates. And then also each state will have 1 vote. The whole delegation, whole state has 1 vote, not based on electoral. So that's how they voted. So far, okay, we only have 1 time, right? We only have 1 time that the president is elected by the House of Representatives. Most of the time, it will be by the electoral college vote will have majority. And the interesting part is the Senate will decide if the vice president didn't have the majority. Okay, they will vote for the vice president. Now, the Senate and the House may be controlled by different parties. America, theoretically today, can have a Republican president and a Democratic vice president. It is possible, okay, which is very remote chance. So there's still some problems here, but because it never happened, so nobody is changing the Constitution. Okay. Sometimes we know the problems are there, but nobody tried to do anything. Sometimes, in the Constitution, almost like those people foresee something might happen. Like last week, I mentioned about the vice president died, vacated his vice presidency, and the president feel lonely. Remember that word, lonely. Okay, when the president feel, come on, vice president is supposed to be the advisor, close advisor of the president. I know there are some movies always try to create some kind of tension between president and vice president, because the president usually doesn't like the vice president very much. Why? Then why you pick the vice president as your running mate? Why? If you don't like him, why are you picking him?
Because you can do everything yourself.
Well, but hey, there are so many people. Why you pick someone you don't like? Like we all know, President Chen didn't like Vice President Liu, right? Why will he pick her?
Maybe he or she has some background.
Well, there are many people having background. Why get someone we call, like in marriage, right? When you divorce, there's always a nice word. What do we call that? Not violence, not domestic violence. There's some, nice divorce word. It's called incompatibility. We cannot get along. Incompatibility, right? So why would president pick someone you are not compatible with you? Will you marry someone who is not compatible? You say, well, she has a great education, she has a nice job, but you don't get along. But she's good. I need someone to help, but we really don't have anything to say to each other. Will you marry someone like that? No. Right? So then why will you pick someone that is considered to be incompatible? What would be the reason to pick someone incompatible? Okay. Yang Daifeng. Yeah. Why? About the image. Okay, so if Professor Yan is flat-faced, I needed someone like Lin Zhiling, okay, to be the running mate, right? That's the image. But then people say, why don't we vote for Lin Zhiling instead of Professor Yan?
So if I want to run the election in this party, so
Within the party. Okay, so there might be different factions. Okay, so you want to pick another one to unify the party. Okay, that's a good reason, right? You pick someone from a different faction of the party so that the party can be unified. Okay, so that's what we call, for the unity of the party. So that's very important. What else? Let's look at 林敬琪、林国宇。林敬琪，为什么躺在那里不 ？OK， 醒了吗 ？OK，What? Why? What else? Okay, the votes. Okay, that's similar, right? Party unity. Also, you don't want to lose the votes. That's the reason McCain picked Sarah Palin. Even though Sarah Palin, I don't know how to describe her because I was, once I lived in Alaska for 8 years, so I should say some nice thing about the independent spirit of American frontier women like Sarah Palin who live in Alaska, right? But the reason McCain picked Sarah Palin is because McCain is considered to be a maverick, not conservative enough. Okay, I mean his conservativeness has been questioned, so Sarah Palin can help to garner, to get the Republican, we call it, maybe in Taiwan we call it the deep green, okay? In America, what we call the deep red, the deep red, 深红, okay, ballot. Okay, so that's very similar. Okay, Lin Boyu. Yeah, what else?
To decrease the power of the vice president to be.
Yeah, but to displace.
Decrease. To lessen the power.
Okay, to lessen the power of the vice president by picking the vice president.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So just so that the vice president will not be, will be in the government, so that cannot make a noise against the president. Right?
Maybe not voice, but affair. Do some decision.
Okay, so the vice president, if you like a little bit like Hillary Clinton, if you don't invite her into the government, then she can, as a senator, she might be an opponent to the president. Oh, that's what we really call sleeping with the enemy, huh? Okay, so that's a good idea. Yeah, but if the vice president is too strong, don't you think the vice president will try to plot, like poison the president? Then he or she can be the president, right? Now some people said Kennedy was murdered by Lyndon Johnson. Lyndon Johnson, such an ambitious, politician. I mean, he despised Kennedy, right? Kennedy just had the great look, right? Lyndon Johnson knew everything. So why would I, more experienced, serve under someone who is not as experienced, right? Okay, so that's another one. Wu Zihe. Yeah, what would be another reason? I mean, like, you pick a vice president. If this person is incompatible, or you don't know the person, like Sarah Palin, by the way, McCain didn't know her very well. Only had one interview with her. And then people, saying, you don't have to, I don't know why. He won the Republican primary for several months. And then, was rushed to make that final decision. It's like you have, it's a little bit like you guys, turning in the homework, writing the homework the last minute. Like you have 1 month to do your homework. You say, oh, I'll finish that, and then the night before you try. So why will you pick someone that is incompatible?
Maybe everybody like him.
Well, okay. So again, to help you get some votes. Okay. Mostly, yeah, when we talk about incompatible, that's maybe personality, but always complementary for you to win, like, first of all, different regions. If you're from the north, you want to pick someone from the south. If you're from the east, you pick someone from the west. If you are, like McCain, a little bit too old, you pick a younger, more energetic, but some people say, ooh, inexperienced. Or you pick someone within your party that can be compensating, helping you to silence the other wing. Okay, I'll give you one example. Reagan, so conservative, right? He picked Bush as his vice president. And Bush, during the campaign, during the primary, called Reagan's economic policy voodoo economics. You know voodoo, V-O-O-D-O-O. What is voodoo economics? Voodoo, V-O-O-D-O-O. Wow. But Reagan is a nice guy. Even you call my economic policy voodoo economics. But if I need your votes, I need your support. He invited George Bush to be his vice presidential candidate. Okay, that's pretty generous for Reagan, and he won easily. So vice president can be a balance for the region, can be a balance of the different experiences. Like Obama, people said he didn't have what we call executive experience. So what do we mean by executive? 河马龙，郑洁之。Yeah, what do you mean by executive experience? Chief Executive Officer, CEO. What is executive? Okay, so what was Obama's experience? Senators. Okay, senator is so sometimes people say he should pick a governor, or someone who has been a city mayor or something. But eventually he picked someone, Biden, also a senator. People said your background are so strange. It's almost like very similar, but at least he didn't pick another black as his vice presidential candidate. I don't think he will win, if he pick another black, right? So he picked a more experience, at least this one. And people who worry about Obama being young, he picked someone who is over 65, 66 years old almost. So more experience. Okay? So the experience also can be complementary as well. Bush, as a governor, right? He picked someone like Cheney, Uncle, Cheney, Dick Cheney, the very good look of the bear. He was a congressman. He had experience, especially as defense minister, secretary of defense. So he has expertise on foreign policy. And what was Bush experience? Anyone know what was Bush experience? Wang Boyu. George Bush, the one who just stepped down. What was his experience before he became president? His credential is the son of the senior George Bush, right? That's his credential. No, people would not vote just simply because he was the son of the former president. At least he has to have his resume has to be convincing. What is his resume? The most important job for him. Make a guess. I mean, most of the American president, they have only 3 experience are the most, right? Before they became president, what are the 3 experience they might have? Okay, think of Taiwan. Lawyer is their profession, but okay, lawyer. Okay, is Chen Zhizong a lawyer? And can he run? No, I don't. But I'm just talking about public office, something. Like in Taiwan, think of our president, how they became president. What was their position? President Ma, President Chen, President Li. Governor. Okay, so governor is very important. Ronald Reagan was governor of California. Carter was governor of Georgia. Clinton was governor of Arkansas. George Bush Jr., 43. Okay, let's just put it, 43 is the younger president. 41 is the older president. So who is 42? Bill Clinton. Okay, so 41, 42, 43. And Obama, not a good sign for Taiwan, 44 president. Okay, but anyway, 43 was governor of Texas. And, before that, we also have a few governors in the history. So governor, definitely. What else? Like Obama, before he became president. Senator. Okay, senator, because you only have 100 senators. And they always appear on television. People can see them. So you have some nationwide, being known nationally. So senator, governor, these are the 2 most popular. Of course, if you are vice president, it's possible you can be vice president. But in American history, only 2 vice presidents just went directly from vice president to become president. I'm not talking succeeding. Like after serving as vice president, they won an election of their own, okay, and became president. One is in the 1836. The last one was our former vice president of Reagan, Bush Senior. Okay, so only 2, okay, in American history. Because vice president, people said, what did he do as vice president? Think of this, all the vice president almost like being forced to the president, saying you need him to win the ticket. You need to get a good ticket, a balanced ticket to win. So okay, I'll accept, right? And then you don't get along with the person. What do? You send him to funerals, right? Oh, some people die. Okay, vice president representing the president to the funeral, right? You send the vice president to visit the disaster areas. You send the vice president maybe to some inauguration of some dictators. More important one, you will see them yourself, right? Or you ask the vice president to receive some questionable leaders from other country. The president don't want to be seen, for example, with let's say a questionable leader from Thailand. Okay, so the vice president, you go to visit. So that's the difference. So vice president would not they don't have a lot of jobs. One time they described the vice presidential job is like mostly indoor and no heavy lifting. Okay, 不需要扛重的东西，大部分都是在室内。So not a very good job description. I mean, they don't tell you what the vice president should do, but at least you want to name the vice president, so that the vice president is tied with you. You don't have to have a separate, like Jefferson was the vice president of John Adams. And then think of this: incumbent president running against incumbent vice president. in 1800. I'm sorry, in 1800. Right? That's how do people vote? Especially the cabinets. So this is the 12th amendment you should know. And then we want to move to the chapters on opportunities. And I think we need to ask the question about, first of all, the role of government in the economy. America is a capitalist economy. Capitalist economy is different from socialist economy, right? The biggest difference is what? 詹登明有在吗？刘应成 Yeah. What's the difference between a capitalist economy and a socialist economy?
Their crypto is very different.
Yeah, how different?
Capitalism saves people's property and they have to strive for those things.
Okay, that's true. But socialist economy, people do not thrive.
Their property has to be shared.
Yeah, okay, some of the properties are shared. Okay, I don't think all the properties are shared, but you do have, I would say, limited property. Okay, but that's, but what about the government role in the economy? In terms of socialists and capitalists, what's the difference?
资本主义相信市场。
Okay, so the capitalist economy believe in market. We call market economy. And socialists, what do we call? Non-market economy. That's always nice, okay? Non-market economy.
政府会管控。
What do we call that? Some people they call planned economy. Okay? Okay, here is an interesting question. I think the last time we have a 6-year plan for our economy was way back in the 1990s. And since the mid-1990s, have you heard of our, anyone has heard about Taiwan's economy? 谢依晨 谢依简是还是简 Okay, 卓杰 Yeah. Have you heard of any new plan, like 6 years plan, 5 years plan? Do we have that now? 5年计划 4年计划 6年计划 I don't think we have any now. But way back when I was growing up, every time we will hear about the 5-year plans, the next 5-year plan, you know, our economy will reach our per capita income. They will keep, you know, all this old, what do we call? Economic Planning Board, 经建会, right? They will give us the figures, and then all these old men and bureaucrats will come up with the words. You know, people say, "What is that?" Our economy will grow, you know, like 3%, 5%. They keep talking about 百分几 5%, 3%, Okay, okay. What is 百分? Okay, 百分. This guy is still alive. You know, you can see him. Okay. I keep talking about 百分. 5%, 10%, 5%. Okay. And so they keep telling us, like, after 5 years, you know, what will be our per capita income, what will be the average economic growth. So Taiwan was a planned economy before. No, because we don't want to say we are planned economy, then we are like socialists. So we said we are mixed economy. You know, we have government planning plus market forces. Okay? Socialist economy, look at all this Stalin, Soviet Union, or China. They have a lot of 5-year plan, the next 10-year plan. Japan, even in the early 50s, they have plan. But you never heard of this economic plan of the United States. There were a lot of economic plan also in South Korea as well. So Asian countries gradually moving into pure, more market economy than before. But America never had plan, 60 years plan, 5-year plan. They don't have that. How much investment will be given to certain area. That's government intervention in the economy. So we want to ask these 3 rows here. Even because the United States is not a planned economy, so they don't have plan. But the government does at least these 3 things, according to Obama in his book. So the first one is about building infrastructure. The government should do. Han Yiming. Yeah. Can you give me 2 examples of infrastructure? What is an infrastructure? Do you know the word? Okay, I'll give you a hint. It's called Will that help you? Okay, give you a hint here. 1344是发音啊，第1声、第3声、第4声、第4声。基础建设 Okay, what is a 基础建设? Give me an example. What does government, in terms of 基础建设, what would be example of 基础建设? Did you study the Jiang Jingguo 10 major construction? Okay, can you name one? Okay, highway is one. What else is a 基础建设? Konga. Right? Konga. I thought, like the harbor was empty. What is Konga? Yeah, 飞机的港. Well, that's right. Air, port. Port. Right? 港. So 空中的港. That's correct. Okay. So 飞机场. I don't know why we call it. 飞机场is airfield, right? Airplane field. So Japanese translation is more accurate. Konga. Okay, so airport, highway, what else? Bridge. Okay. By the way, Taiwan bridge is a pork barrel thing. They keep breaking down and then more creating more jobs. Okay. I love Taiwan's but okay. Yeah. Government do that, okay? Bridge, highway, airport, what else? How about, give me something more modern, come on. We have high-speed rail, right? Government help, at least, helping. What else? How about MRT? Right? Metro Rapid Transit, okay? Or, subway. Anything else? We used to have telephone line, but interestingly now, all the telephone pole, telephone line, but now it's all wireless, it's all cellular phone. So I don't think government is helping a lot, because nobody want all those station there. But what else? Power plant, right? I mean, Tsinghua University, you should have all those, the power plant, including the nuclear power plant, right? The water one, the coal one. So you have all kinds of power plant. Now, in America, in the 19th century, there are two major government infrastructure building. What are those two in America in the 19th century? One is, when I was serving as a high school textbook advisor, I'll check all the textbooks on American history to see whether they cover this part, the Chinese contribution. What did Chinese contribute to America in the 19th century? Oh, we sent a lot of people in the laundry. Huh? Doing the laundry, that's the infrastructure? No. What are the Chinese doing? Yeah, railroads, right? Building railroads. Making sure they will have a paragraph on the contribution of Chinese in building, connecting the railroad. So, okay, that's one very big one. That's almost in the second half. But in the first half of the 19th century, the government also helped to build a lot of things. So you can go, the boat, the ship can come all the way from here, the St. Lawrence River, all the way to Chicago. Whew. How do you connect those? Through the Great Lakes, but also what? 水洋地上，大运河 the Grand Canal, right? So canal was a big thing. Do we have a canal? Yes, we do. In Taiwan, we have one, right? Nobody knew we have a canal in Taiwan. 台南有运河. Okay? Anyone from Tainan here? Where is Tainan 的运河?
Well, if you go back to about 100 years ago, it is useful, but
now it's for sightseeing, right?
yeah.
But still, we had 运河 before, so it's very important in water transportation. So that's what government do. In the economy, you build infrastructure. So nowadays, I think, what did Taipei or South Korea being very proud of their infrastructure? Which one? South Korea, their infrastructure, I'm not talking about their new, water things, the canal, but the other things. South Korea has the highest coverage of people using what? The wireless internet, right? The government and Taipei also did a lot. So wherever you go, you can have access of wireless internet. So that's also infrastructure today. So you can still do infrastructure. And, okay, the government, by building infrastructure, will help to what? Okay, what does that help your economy? Having infrastructure. Let's try. Li Han-ni. Yeah. What does government help? What do those infrastructure help you? Okay, create jobs. Okay, but that's good. But okay, I can also create jobs by government saying, we can build those things. That help to create jobs. But what kind of jobs? I mean, workers, of course. Like all those workers who work on the bridge always broke. But in addition to that, what kind of job do they create? For example, Taipei, not Taipei, I'm sorry, Taoyuan Airport now is expanding, getting better. So what does it tell you, their infrastructure? how would that create jobs? Okay, more people will travel to Taiwan because you have the capacity, right? So it's important for you to have that kind of infrastructure, or the highway. When the road is going well, you can attract people, not just the tourists, but industry is more willing to invest in Taiwan because the transportation is no problem. So remember, infrastructure does create some jobs, infrastructure building, but more importantly is attracting investment, attracting business to continue to invest in the country, so create more jobs that way. So it's important, even though in America government is supposed not to be in the economy. It's bad. Obama has been called what? A socialist, because he's trying to deal with the healthcare. American believe, healthcare, let the market decide. Ms. Liu already mentioned, people just people just love the market forces to decide everything, including the healthcare. So they don't want Obama. They accuse Obama of being a socialist because he wants to use the government to intervene. Infrastructure is good. Second one is regulating the market. Okay. Again, market has its own life. Why are you doing it? For example, right now, some people said Taiwan's real estate market is, not reachable to ordinary citizens. Okay, just too high. The price has been, the value has been inflated. So people said the government should come in to tell the people to cool down. But let me ask you, if Xie Yundang, Peng Guanrong, yeah, but what happened? If people cannot afford, if like Hsinchu, right? If it's $200,000 per ping, then people will go to Zhubei to buy. People will say, wait a second, this is Hsinchu. I don't want to pay $200,000 for one ping. 一瓶20万. Hsinchu, I think, is still lower than 20万, right? And you say, this is not Taipei. Why should I pay 200,000? So there is a market forces. People will go to buy, or people will decide not to buy and wait. And then those people who say, $200,000, no buyer, I have to lower to maybe 180 or 175. So if that's the case, why would the government try to intervene? Okay. Intervene because it's the price increased too fast. Okay, there is a word called equilibrium, right? Equilibrium. What does that mean? Equilibrium.
The price or the wage, they adjust themselves and make the demand for supply.
Okay, the demand is about the same as the supply, or the supply, is about the same as the demand. That would be better for the economy. So what the government regulating the market is that if the government does not regulate, you will see up and down, very sharp up and down. But the government is like making that up and down a little bit smoother. Okay, so government is like trying to make the economy a little bit smooth. Okay, that's what we call regulating the market. For example, Taiwan's economy was down, so the housing market was not very good. So what did the government do? Government said, hey, we have a lot of low interest rate for people who want to buy. So encourage buying by lower interest rate. So people are attracted to buy. And once the housing market rebound, and the government said, oh, okay, no more low interest rate. So people are not crazy buying. Then the price will come down. So government can use the adjustment of interest rate to smooth the economy. If there is an inflation, means everybody is trying to buy, price become more expensive, and then the government will do one thing, is to increase the interest rate. Back in 1970, late 70s, American inflation was so high, the government raised the interest rate to how much? 21%. One time, okay. So if you have money, you put it in the bank now, right? My bank will not give you 21%, but it may be 15%, 14% at least. And now in Taiwan, if the bank gives you 1% interest rate, and then people will go out to buy, to spend, then it will help to get the economy, stimulate the economy. Our economy is kind of like dying, so it needs a little bit stimulation. That's the reason the interest rate is still low. But if the economy become, we call, too heated, everybody is going out to buy things, then the government said, I want you to save some money. So what do? They raise the interest rate. And I still remember that 21%. Okay, nobody can imagine 21% today. Like 2.1%? No, 21%. Okay, let's take a break. Okay, fluctuation. And government's job is to smooth the economy, okay, so that we don't have to suffer this up and down. But even within the capitalist philosophy of the market economy, they always said government play a role. Remember, the most famous quote from Adam Smith is what? Government is what? Invisible hand, right? Invisible hand. So regulating the market, one way is using, we call, monetary policy. Monetary policy, almost like controlling the supply of money, interest rate. Those will be helping people to spend money to different direction. Again, if the interest rate is high, most people will save money. If the interest is low, people will spend money, invest. Okay? So that's one. The other one is using we call budgetary policy. You're spending the budget on certain, government can spend more. When Taiwan suffered the oil crisis of 1973, and that's when our government at the time put forward the 10 major constructions. So government can spend money to create jobs and, to help what the market cannot do. Okay, like last year, I think it was last year or the beginning of this year, I was asked to hire someone by the government. The government said, we have so many people losing jobs, so we will give some opportunity for people, and they ask, those of us who have NSC projects, 国科会计划, saying, oh, you can hire an additional person. Okay, so I hire a postdoc, but I really don't have the time to supervise him. So it's almost like 放牛吃草, right? But the only thing I was able to do is helping him to get 2 papers presented in a conference, and also trying to have his dissertation getting published. We don't know whether it's going to get published or not. At least it's being sent to be reviewed. But those are, when the government can help to somehow smooth the economy. Because if you have up and down, a lot of people will suffer. Okay, the third role is arbitrating, at least in the book, between management and labor. Okay, and this is a big problem in America. Right? Should the government intervene? Like, what happens if you have a strike? The labor union, the union decide to have a strike, and the management won't back down. And then the end result might be the union members will lose their jobs, and the management decided, okay, we are going to close the plant, and both will suffer. So the government doesn't want to see that, because unemployment is a big problem, right? So government will try to intervene and help to be a mediator. We call arbitrating sometimes. So that's at least in the text we learn about that. And this is where I think Obama, in the book, begin to talk about job. Okay, so I want to ask you questions about job. I believe we discussed this a little bit, but I will ask more. Wang Boquan, Chen Yiping. Yeah, what does job mean in the United States? If you read the chapters about the Maytag workers, what does a job mean? Today a job means in Taiwan means few things to do, a lot of money, and close to home, right? 钱多事少离家近. Okay, but what does a job mean in the U.S.? In addition to just a work, but what else? At least from if you have read the chapter, you should know. What does a job offer us in Taiwan? For example, you go to, if you work in a university as an assistant, right? You say, oh, my job, I have to fill out some forms. A job also means you have to pay tax. But what else do you get? Benefits. Okay, some kind of benefits, right? If you work for example, public as a civil servant, as a public school university professor, maybe after retire, you get monthly retirement benefits. You work for other companies, they still have to pay some benefit, at the end for your retirement. What else? Related to benefits. Yeah, insurance. The key word. Okay, I think in the chapter it's about insurance, right? People would not want to lose their job because the job is one thing that their family is covered. So you said, wait a second, you can buy insurance. Sorry, sometimes if you buy insurance, especially after a health examination, they say, oh, you are, high risk. They would not sell you, insurance, health insurance, or you cannot afford. When you have a group insurance, even if you are a little bit high risk, there are other low risk people to help you, to lower the risk of the whole group. Okay? So insurance is very important, and this is why in the textbook, in Obama's book, It talks about the people who worry about losing the job and losing the insurance, and then cannot, have a son, I think, a liver transplant, right? 肝脏移植, which is impossible. So, job comes with insurance, with the also it means your kids might be able to play some baseball game now. I'm not talking about gambling, but I'm talking about playing baseball. If you got beamed, you understand what got beamed. I was told that Chase Utley, anybody know this guy? Chase Utley? He got beamed the most time. Not beamed, he got hit by a pitch. I think he has more than 30 this season. He's being hit by a pitch. You have to work very hard to get hit by a pitch. You have to put your shoulder up there. You're getting hit, right? So anyway, beam is not the same as beam. Is the pitcher purposely throwing to you. Okay. Now, in Little League baseball, how many kids have great control, like Maddox? No, they can't. So they throw and you might get hurt. Who knows? And the kids cannot use the glove to protect themselves very well. So sometimes when the ball hits to them, they too late. Like their reaction is a little bit. So you get hurt. If you don't have insurance, your kids better not play that kind of thing. So this is very important, just to make sure you have a regular family life, is to at least have the kind of coverage we call it, insurance coverage, right? Insurance sometimes, in addition to this, a job also means some kind of affiliation with the community. So it's important. And what is a good job? Yeah, great insurance. That's the reason when I first went to Alaska to teach the university, most people ask me, why are you teaching the university? Why don't you teach the high school yet? Because the high school has better benefit covered. And the university, as a private university, again, the insurance coverage, we call the pool, P-O-O-L, okay, it's much smaller. So if there's a lot of people who suddenly pay more visits to the doctors, you raise your premium. But high school, so many teachers, so the possibility is a little bit lower. Okay, so good job, not just good benefit insurance, but also union job. Union job means you have protection. They cannot lay you off easily. Union job means collective bargaining. You at least have collective bargaining. Means you can negotiate with your management. Okay, Tsinghua, I'm not sure. Do you have that? I remember we tried in Zhengzhi University to help the janitors to get some kind of collective bargaining, so we can do something. 0.1. What else will, in your definition, is a good job? Great insurance, union job, what else? Don't give me that, lots of money, close to home, and, no heavy lifting. Stable job, okay? But stable job, also you want that job cannot be easily replaced. So a skilled job will be more important. You have that skill. Otherwise, nowadays, I think this is the big problem in America, right? If it's not skilled job, easily can be replaced by others. And in America, for example, right now, they are shipping jobs overseas. right? Manufacturing jobs move overseas to Mexico, to China, to India, and even service jobs may have been shipped overseas. So, for example, right now you have any service problem, you call like bank or computer services, you make the 800 phone call, free, toll free, we call, just free phone call. Like what we have here, 0800, right? Okay, they have 1-800, we have 0800. Okay, so the same. You call and actually the one pick up the phone is from India. But they have learned to shed their Indian accent. They have to learn how to speak like they will call, oh, this call is from Great Britain. Good morning, you, sir. How are you? What's the problem? Okay, so they begin to speak the British style, and then the American phone, oh, this coming from California, they begin to speak the American accent. So that means those jobs can be easily replaced. And think of all this. The American company, we said, good job. If they hire you, they have to pay you insurance and benefit. They subcontract the job to India. They don't have to worry about insurance. So job can be easily replaced. It's not a good job. Okay, good job means, it's not easily replaced skill job. Okay, so that's very important. The same thing in Taiwan right now, right? People say if you call bank for service, what do you get? Maybe someone, you can hear it's a mainland accent. It's a Fujian people helping you. Okay? They shipped the job to Fujian already. Especially with the phone right now, much cheaper. If they connect with the Skype, no, they don't pay anything. Right? What else? I had the experience, right? One time I called in New York. I want to get a new driver license. So I called and, the guy explained to me and then, what kind of documents I need. I walked, that day was a snowing day. 7 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, which about what, 10, 15 minus of Celsius. I walk for about 20 minutes and to we call the driver license, they call Department DMV, Department of Motor Vehicle, to get a license, and then found out I was short of one document. I said, this is what, the guy in the telephone told me, all I need. They said, who told you that? I said, so and so. They said, well, we don't answer the phone. I said, who answered the phone? So, in the prison, they use the prison labor to answer the phone. Okay, so at least they're using someone still in the U.S. But what happened? They jobs they ship to overseas, to India, to China. So a good job is a skilled job that will continue to have higher wages, because lower wages might be nice to stay in the U.S., but can be replaced as well. Higher wages, the management does not want to pay that much, so they will ship job overseas. So in America, there is a big problem in terms of losing good jobs overseas, like Maytag in the textbook, talking about this Maytag, making the appliance. And minimum wage, okay? America helped, at least helping the workers to say, you cannot exploit the workers. You have to provide them a basic wages, minimum wage, so they can get by. I think the past few days we heard about something about our baseball player. She also have a minimum wage, maybe of $150,000 a month. 你们觉得15万可以吗？可以啊，15万勉强吧。会不会再去读啊？Minimum wage, okay. But in Taiwan, okay, what's the minimum wage? Wang Sun, what's the minimum wage in Taiwan? Monthly, what is it? Or hourly? Hourly right now is what? $90? 85? 80? 80. Okay, let's try 80 times $40 a week. 40 hours a week. 3,200, right? Times 4 weeks, right? What is it? 120. Okay, 8, right? So what is it? About 12,800, maybe a little bit more. So about 1,300. You know, because you have, you know, not just 4 weeks. You may have 1 or 2 days more. So in reality, our monthly minimum wage, I think it's more than that. It's 15,000. 15,000多块. Okay, close to 16. Okay, that's the minimum wage in Taiwan. Okay, now my question for you is, if you gain minimum wage in Taiwan, do you think you'll be able to survive by yourself? Okay, so should we have that minimum wage, that difference? If you work in Taipei, don't you think you should get more compared to Taitung? Now, but people will think minimum wage is the minimum that's in Taitung. In Taipei, if you pay that $16,000 a month, nobody will work for that wage. But I think there are a lot of people still working for that wage, right? So maybe you need some kind of adjustment in different areas. Okay, now the question here, let's say if you can survive in Hsinchu with $16,000, right? Your future spouse, okay, I'm not saying your wife, you know, might be a man, who knows, right? Okay, your future spouse also makes the minimum wage. So $32,000 for 2 of you. That be sufficient? Should be more, right? Better than for 1. No, I mean, you know, you rent an apartment. Now, you know, 2 rent an apartment, you know, I mean, you know, just add a bed, that's it, or become a bigger bed, right? You pay the same utility, maybe a little bit more, but, okay, what happened, I will ask you, is if you have 2 kids, do you think that would be sufficient? No. Now, this is the question I want to ask you. America's minimum wage is about the same as Taiwan, okay? Let's say it's about, I think it's about 14 US dollar, 14,000 US dollar per year, okay? So let's say for 2 person, okay, will be 28. It's close to what? 80 something. $850,000 Taiwanese a year, 80多万嘛，年轻 with 2 kids. Interestingly, this was below the poverty line, according to America, for a family of 4. Okay, so then the question is, you said this is the minimum wage, but you also told us that both parents work for minimum wage and raise 2 kids with that kind of income. You are below the poverty line. Why is that minimum wage? Okay, so that's the reason Obama wants to raise it. But then I think the good answer from earlier is very important. If you have these wages, if you live in Mississippi, should be fine. If you live in Connecticut or New Jersey, you're in big trouble. In New York City, big trouble, right? So sometimes people say, well, New York should have, you know, if they pay minimum wage, they cannot hire people. But the America always have a big problem. Why? They will always have illegal aliens coming in, undocumented workers from Latin America. They will tell you in the month of July, you have a copy. Do you know what is this? This is American, some of the people who live in hotel in Washington, D.C. or New York, and then being waken up by the service, room service, or some people, you know, who serve in the hotel. They ask you, do you want a copy in July? You say, what is it? July copy? Do you like coffee? Do you like coffee? Do you like coffee? So, and when those undocumented workers, they're not going to say, hey, boss, you should pay me minimum wage. You have no documents. You don't have a working permit, right? They always have Latin American undocumented immigrants. They also have what? China. China is famous for, you know, shipping all those people days in the high sea and finally arrive and, you know, almost die. Some of you might have seen that movie. What is it? Mel Gibson's movie. What is that? You know, 3 or 4 of them. With what is the name? Suddenly. Yeah. What is it? The English title. Lethal Weapon 3, I think, has some undocumented workers from China, right? Hiding, you know, in the boat. So, and now you also have undocumented workers for long, also from Africa, from Europe, Eastern Europe before. So when you have this, what do we call, unlimited supply of cheap labor, no one is interested in paying you more. Okay, so you will have all those people. I don't even know how they can pay back for their journey from China to the United States. They have to pay almost Taiwanese dollar $1 million to get you smuggled in the United States. And you will hope, you know, after you are in the U.S., you can work and pay back that money. Take a long time. It's almost like servitude. We call 奴隶制度. Okay, but buying. So when you have all this unlimited supply of labor, minimum wage is a big problem. They will continue to raise the minimum wage. In certain areas, might be good, but other area really you cannot afford. So some people say America should not have a national minimum wage, but a state by state, you know, depending on the living standard. It's a little bit like in Taiwan. I think most of you have read that some of our professors who live in Taitung get the same wage as people who work in Taipei, right? 台东大学跟台大只差一个字 right? 那个房子坪数是 you pay $600,000 per 坪 for an old home, old apartment in Taipei, right? 在台大附近温州街老房子60万一坪，在台东6万块买豪宅。But you get the same pay, right? Do you think we need to have a little bit of cost of living adjustments? So can minimum wage sustain a family? No, not in the United States. Can we sustain our family here? A family of 4, income about $32,000. 32000块够不够活？可以啦。Can we do it? Well, I think a little bit better than the U.S., especially if you're not in Taipei, right? But still, not very good. Okay. Why is America losing jobs to other countries? Okay. This is a good question. Union. People say, okay, you have this union, you keep having collective bargaining. The management said, well, we need to cut the cost. The wages is too high here. We can get the same wages in China. Maybe the productivity is a little bit low, but not, okay, let's say the wages 10 times more in the United States. Okay, do you think the American workers are 10 times more productive? Probably not. Okay, so what if you're 3 times more productive? Still cheaper to be produced in China. The same thing in Taiwan. Okay, you said we have our, like Obama said in his book, our workers really want to work hard. Chinese workers are lazy. Okay, American workers are, skilled, are well educated, and higher productivity, but you're not going to be 10 times more productive. In Taiwan, we think our workers are better than those in China, but our wages is at least 5 times more. So do you think we have 5 times more productive? We are 5 times more productive than Chinese workers. Unfortunately, one of my former assistants who work in China right now, he said, hey, Professor, I don't even know why they pay me this much. They can pay the local people and get about 1/3 of my salary and get the same kind of performance or output. But the only thing is because, hey, I'm from Taiwan, I can be trusted. He said, I just happen to be from Taiwan, so okay. If a company has to hire someone from Taiwan, so that's the advantage. But if mainland workers decide to show some loyalty, can be trusted, you will be squeezed out the job market, right? So you understand the American higher wages. Also, there are other things. The unions, when they organized, they will make a lot of demand, maybe disrupting the production if they do have a strike. And other things in America, losing jobs because of environmental regulation. Okay, some of the company felt that they can save some money by going to especially right now, America has what? Higher than the average, or they already exceeding their quota for carbon emission. So they can ship some of the industry to countries which have not produced enough carbon. Right? Like countries like Venezuela maybe, or countries like Nicaragua, then they can ship the company there to produce enough carbon there, and then they're okay. So this is why American is losing the job. And from a Democrat, okay, Obama, Democrat cares more about jobs. Republican cares more about inflation. Okay, so what does that mean? Democrats care more about jobs, and Republicans care more about inflation. 和新疆, yeah. What does that mean? Why do Republicans care more about inflation? Than the Democrats? You understand inflation? Do you understand inflation? Like things keep going up, the price of things going up, 通货膨胀. Okay. First of all, what kind of economy do you have inflation? When the economy is very active, it's heated, people are buying things, and the price keep going up. Okay, but mostly it's because people have jobs. People have jobs, they have money to spend. When they want to buy, so suddenly you have higher demand than supply. So you have inflation. Okay, now, but in a recession, okay, 经济衰退, people lose their jobs, people are not buying, so even the things you have would not go up. I mean, the price of basic supply would not go up. Example, in Taiwan, the price went up in the early 1990s and basically stayed the same for 1 decade when we have a slower economic growth. Okay? Now, so why would Republicans care more about inflation? Democrats worry more about jobs, recession like right now. About workers, about ordinary people, but also make sure one thing. Ordinary workers in America, hey, they don't have a lot of things in value. Like they are making minimum wages, right? So what happens if you have inflation? Yeah, I mean, what I own doesn't mean, is losing its value. But I don't own anything. It's the middle class that worry about inflation the most. The limited things you have, if you cannot afford, to buy, and the inflation continue, your salary does not increase as fast, then you will have trouble. Okay, the poor people do not worry about inflation as much if they are truly poor. Okay, but to have at least a job is better. So Democrats worry more about jobs, and Republicans worry a little bit more about inflation. Of course, both worry about inflation, both worry about jobs, but Republicans will worry more than the Democrats. Okay. So sometimes they will try to use tax to adjust. So income tax. The book talk about the income. Huang Weizhi. Yeah. What is an income tax?
You earn money and you have to some of them to one of them.
Okay. So in Taiwan, for example, the income tax will be something like 7%. 13%, 21%, 30%, depending how much you earn, right? That's income tax. It's especially, I hate this in Taiwan. We are so efficient in terms of our computer connection. I mean, like, everything I earn can be traced. Gosh, can be taxed. Huh? Like, sometimes, when I fill out my tax form, maybe I didn't fill out something, but they said, print out, all the income you have. Ooh, it's there. Okay, so I have to pay more tax. Okay, so that's income tax. That's easy. Most of the time, the income tax, everyone earn money, salary, you pay income tax. That's easy. The next one, Pan Yan. Yeah. What is capital gain tax? Yeah, okay, now, let me ask you. Do you think capital gain tax should be high or low? Should be high, but most of the time it's not high. Why? Okay, I think Obama mentioned Buffett, right? Buffett. Very famous guy. So I pay less tax than my receptionist because most of my money I earn is from capital gain. So what is capital gain? From the capital means not from your fixed salary, but from your investment. Now, why investment tax is low now under the Republican? Okay, it's all the big guy, the big corporation making the investment. Now, their argument is if you raise the capital gain capital gain tax, then people will not invest. people will hug their money, saying, why should I invest and then pay all this tax? Okay, sounds reasonable, but this is, most of those people are rich people. They have extra money to invest. So in capital gain tax, which is Republicans, I call pet project. You understand what is pet project? Like, what is your pet project? Little things you feel so dear to you. You love it. Yeah, you cherish. What will be a pet project? Okay, for example, my pet project, sometimes maybe to build my dream den. Okay, 我的书房, right? I want to make it very contemporary, but also very classic. Okay, so one time I remember when I lived in the U.S., we have 4 rooms in the lower level. My 2 kids, each one living 1 room. Then the other 2 rooms, one is an entertaining room or something. So I thought, hey, I need to convert. When my kids went to college and leave home and get married, I want to make my 4 rooms, enter the room. This room is called qing. This room is called qi. This room is called Su, and this room is called Hua. Whoa. Right? So what is Qing? Today, all the classical music, right? All the, the stereo. That's my Qing room, right? Qi room, all the games, right? And Su, of course, right? Books, right? Hua, oh, maybe I'll do some drawing. Who knows? I'm not talented at all. I have no talent, not talented. I have no talent in drawing, but that might be just pretending to be one of room. So qing qi, I said I'm going to get some classical Chinese calligraphy outside my room. Qing, 草书, right? That's my pet project. Okay, but Republican pet project is always try to lower the capital gain tax. So to help the rich get richer. Next one, Lin Yiming. Yeah, what is estate tax? Real estate. Okay, real estate is a little bit different. Real estate is what? In English, sometimes we call it real estate. It's 房地产. But estate is a little bit different. Yeah, every house has the tax as well, right? We property tax we call, but estate tax is not property tax. Property tax, every house you own, you pay property tax. What is estate tax? In Taiwan, it is Wang Yongqing. It is Cai Wanling. What is it? Estate tax. Yeah, someone died. What left. And according to the book, right nowadays, right, how much you don't have to pay if the parents leave several $1 million to the kid, American dollar, million. If the Republican had its way, $7 million, the first $7 million, not taxed. Okay, think of this. $7 million, not taxed at all, and then you times almost 32 is what? So it's about 20 million Taiwanese dollar. If your parent left you $20 million, should not be taxed at all. What was Obama's objection to this? Zhang Sunjie. Yeah, why Obama said, rich people leave left, some of the estates, some of the, things to their kids should be taxed. Why? Should be taxed more instead of less. Why? said, wait a second, my parents worked so hard, right? Why all the hard work of his life and then pay 50% to government for tax? What's the reason? Why should we tax all these people who have hard work, work very hard and leave something for their kids, and then you take 50% away? Okay, what we call social mobility. Okay, at least allowing, Otherwise, all these people, they already, it's like a little bit like people who criticize George Bush early, right? George Bush in 1988, running for president, the Democrats accused him he was born on the first base. And he thought he had a hit. You understand, playing baseball. Hey, you either get a hit on base, or you work very hard, like Utley, to get hit, and then go to on base. Or at least you work the pitcher so hard, get a walk, right? But George Bush was born on the first base. Okay, so if your parents left you a lot of money, like you were born on the third base, right? And you didn't even want to, get a hit to come home to score, and you are waiting for the pitcher to have a wild pitch, huh? Or balk. That's even better. Wild pitch, you still have to run, right? What is balk? 投手犯规, right? Oh, 签字忘. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. You walk home, right? So, I think they want to make the playing field, okay? So we call even the playing field. Otherwise, you will have aristocracy. That's, again, the same idea is how do you overcome that? There are so many people who were born with a silver spoon, we call it. Born with a silver spoon in their mouth. 含着金汤匙. But the English is 银汤匙. So why do we translate? Because maybe 银 is going to get rusty and 金 will not, right? 是这样的吗？银会生锈嘛？金不生锈嘛？你有听过有人插金器吗？没有嘛？但是要常常插银器嘛。还要有一种什么东西喷一喷去插 ，OK？ So I don't know why they use, but silver spoon in their mouth. Okay, so those are Obama felt if you don't do that, or like Buffett said, you need to level, okay, or even the playing field. Sometimes people use the word level, right? Get it even, level the playing field. Yu Yi Sen, 拜师恩，拜威明。Okay, what is progressive tax? What is it? What do you mean by 渐进税? Oh means okay. Look at these people who are so poor, they don't have to pay tax. Okay, only those people who are earning this much money will pay tax. But more than that, what else? Progressive tax means what? The more you earn, the higher percentage of tax you're supposed to pay. So capital gain tax, that's a big problem because ordinary people do not have extra money to invest. Rich people have extra money to invest and they make more out of capital gain and they pay less they pay limited tax, whereas in the income tax, most people, the fixed salary people pay a lot, even though you have different rates. Like in Taiwan, I said 7, 13, 21, and 30%. Maybe you want to go back home and check with your parents to see what they pay for you. And you have to check, make sure, like if without you, maybe your parents are paying higher percentage of income tax. They should be very grateful of you. You can blackmail your parents. 说你看，要是没有我，你可以第一个你不能减那个7万块钱一个人的然后呢还有多一个可以报税的那个家庭 family of 4， 哇，还有我的 education， 你看马上把你这个 income 本来是要21%，现在变成13%。So should I get all those extra? So you need to be smart in getting your parents. So that's a progressive tax. Flat tax is someone saying, we should get all the same rate for everything, which is not fair for the poor people, right? Poor people going out to buy things, the same tax. So Obama is trying to use the tax policy to somehow protecting or helping the poor, which is difficult. I think Obama talked about opportunity. He tried to level the playing field. He mentioned the importance of education. But America is a capitalist society. You cannot prevent the capitalist, the management, from moving jobs overseas. So more and more people are fighting for less and less jobs, which means the wage will not go up, right? Like the reason Taiwan, I think we can maintain some wages is because we have people keep moving out, right, to China to work. So, okay, we'll stop here and see you next week. We will have the midterm on the 16? 2 weeks from today. 16, yeah. I'll give you right away some review items, and you can send me information asking questions next week, okay? So 2 weeks. No, I'm sorry, not 16. 23rd or 24. 24. Sorry. 24, not 17. Okay, 24. 3 weeks from today to the midterm.